Time now for the after show, the politics episode of the Improbability Engine, and my buddy Joe Darnell is here. I'm Will Aubrey. It has been a weird week.
Yeah, you could say that again.
Donald Trump, on Sunday, in an interview, said that the plan that he's going to present will provide universal coverage for health care for everybody. He said that while there are some people who believe that only those who can afford to pay for it should get it, that he's not like that, and he wants to provide it for everybody, and the government will pay for it. Now, he changes his mind 3 times every minute. So who knows whether you can trust any of that?
Yeah.
I hope, and I'm in the camp that says let's wait and see what he actually does as president. So, I mean, let's just hope for the best.
Well, and you can look at no further than Bernie Sanders, this icon of the the liberal left, and even his statements are okay. If you want to do that, if you want to take on special interests, if you want to, do more to ensure better health care for people, I'm willing to listen. I'm willing to, and if you actually do it, if it's a plan that's worth supporting, you'll have my support. I think the difference right now, and this is the absolute truth, the difference between liberals and conservatives is that at this point, conservatives would root for their country to fail to have the president lose if he was a Democrat. And I think at this point, liberals are like, look, if it's a good idea, we got your back. If it's not, we're not. We're willing to listen. And I think as long as the left continues to do that, I think there's still hope for progress.
Well, most of the people who voted for Trump are not ideologues, and Trump's not an ideologue.
Yeah, you have to have an idea first.
So, if he were to actually do this, he has a chance to become a beloved president.
Absolutely. Now, here's the problem that I have with Trump. He really did rally to the Republican nomination by appealing to a demographic of people's basest instincts. There's
a good bit of truth to that. Although, this charge that he mocked a man who was disabled, have you seen the Catholics for Trump video presentation?
No, I have not.
You should watch it, because it shows other instances before that where Trump had mocked someone for saying something he regarded as stupid, and he uses the same hand movements that he used when he was talking about the reporter.
Yeah.
So you can make a strong case that he was not mocking the man's disability.
No, he was mocking all disabilities.
Well, I don't know about that, because
he's implying, well, you're stupid and you've got a physical problem that you can't control yourself. You're spastic. You know what I mean? There's an old.
But he did that with
problem.
people who were not disabled. The hand motions when he was talking about
them. Does it really make it any better? Do you know what I'm saying? We're really splitting here. You have to want to believe that he is a good guy.
Oh, I do not believe he's a good guy.
Do you know what I mean? Well, I mean, to take that and go, yeah, well, that totally makes perfect sense. That's what that is. And it just doesn't, it doesn't work. You know what I mean? It's one of those things that you look at it and you go, if he's talking about, there have been some on the right who, made fun of Michael J. Fox, saying that he's embellishing his symptoms from Parkinson's. Now, I find that not only disturbing, but disgusting, because Parkinson's has hit, in my family as well. And there's nobody who fakes that.
All right, I have to pause this to tell a joke is so bad. Not only could it not air on TV, we can't put it in this podcast. And now we're back.
Yeah, that was inappropriate. I apologize to the internet.
We're not putting it up on the internet.
I know. I still
So,
apologize to the internet. That's how bad it was.
Anyway.
No, I think that's the biggest issue we've got right now is this idea that we can disparage somebody who's other than us by invoking some sort of negative stereotype. If it's the idea of someone who's retarded, quote unquote retarded, somehow not intelligent or not having the ability to be functional or even additive to the community. Whether we buy into the lie that he saw Muslims in New Jersey celebrating 9/11, which he has mysteriously not talked about, even though it's been disproven that it hasn't happened.
Well, there's actually a story in the Washington Post about Muslims celebrating in New Jersey after the 9/11 attacks. But instead of thousands, it might have been half a dozen. I mean, it was a few people on a rooftop.
And honestly, that's the problem. Whenever you make these broad stereotypical statements where you're trying to impugn an entire religious subgroup or race or gender or any of that, it's going to be a negative thing because frankly it just doesn't jive with what we want to be as Americans.
I agree.
And it's not true. I mean, if you look at the Muslim American community as an example, if you asked most people what percentage of Muslims support ISIS or support Al-Qaeda, I don't know what kind of numbers they'd give. I do know that the numbers in reality are infinitesimally small.
Yes,
they are
indeed.
Microscopic. But it's a subsection of people over the world. That's how that works. There's a subsection of Christians who are less than desirable in my idea.
And by the way, you using the word infinitesimal or a form thereof reminds me of something. I needed a word yesterday, so I made one up.
Of course you did.
And found out that it was already a word. Who knew?
I'm telling you, you're so smart and you read the dictionary.
Indeterminacy. Who knew that was actually a word? I needed a word. I made it up.
And it was real.
And it was real.
You know what that is? That's
we need to coin a word for that.
So whenever I played baseball, I was not the greatest baseball player.
No?
No, I know. Looking at me, it's hard to tell. I have this svelte athletic form that, somewhere underneath all this pudge. But one of the things I did as a first baseman, playing a hot corner, they call it the hot corner because, you get line drives hit your way that you just don't have time to react to. I was the king of just sticking my glove out and making ridiculous catches. Not because I was good, but because I wasn't afraid to look like an idiot. So I just sling my arm out and knock a ball down and pick it up and take it over to first base. But that's exactly what that is whenever you're looking for a word and you don't know what it is, you just kind of stick your glove out and one pops in there and you say it, and then later on you go, oh yeah, I did that on purpose. I knew that word. That's exactly what it is. All right, so moving on, I've got a quote for you. And it's a quote from politics that frankly left me aghast. It was horrible. Okay, so here it is. Quote, "We don't answer to editorial boards. We don't answer to self-serving individuals who might have a political agenda. We don't answer to the Attorney General or to any judge. We don't answer to accrediting agencies." End quote. One might think that this was a translated quote from Il Duce, from Italian history. We talk about Benito Mussolini, the fascist dictator who would stand and puff out his chest and talk about how he doesn't answer to anybody. You might even think that it comes from Joseph Stalin or one of the many that followed after him in the Soviet Union, but it doesn't. It comes from our very own Governor Matt Bevin, who is talking about his reorganization of the University of Louisville board. And frankly, when I read that, I was like, I got to find some. I found it on somebody that was not a highly reputable source. It was a blog. I'm like, that's not right. Somebody's added this in. In the era of fake news, I went one step further and found a corroborating source. And you know what that source was? Matt Bevin's Twitter feed, where he posted a video where he said this to his Twitter feed.
He says incredibly outrageous things. that you just quoted, if you put that up and put Barack Obama's name by it on Facebook, you would have untold thousands of people commenting that Obama was a dictator. Okay?
Yeah, exactly.
And the truth is, he may think that he's not subject to what judges say, but he's wrong, just like George Wallace was wrong when he tried to defy the Supreme Court and not let blacks and whites go to the same school.
Absolutely, yeah. The idea of judicial supremacy at the federal level was established in 1804 with Marbury v. Madison. This is not something new. On the state level, if you use that same type of judicial review standard, the Kentucky Supreme Court will absolutely tell Matt Bevin what he can and cannot do.
And it will be enforced by law enforcement officers if necessary.
If necessary. Now, here's where he was right. The next line on that is, we are accountable to the voters. So I look at all the voters. If U of L loses its accreditation, if that school, honestly, one of the best schools in the Southeast, let alone in the state of Kentucky, a fantastic school, a wonderful medical program, dentistry programs, a really top tier university in the United States. If they lose their accreditation because Matt Bevin wanted to flex his gubernatorial muscle, I look at every single voter in the Commonwealth of Kentucky and I put the blame on them. Because that's exactly what they've done. They've got to own that. They've got to own what damage that this guy is going to do to the institutions in the Commonwealth of Kentucky. There's just no two ways about it. We talk about responsibility, that their party loves talking about responsibility, personal responsibility. Well, guess what? This is where personal responsibility kicks in.
I agree.
Very frustrating times, Will. The inauguration's coming up this week.
Yay.
You gonna have a watch party?
No.
Me neither. Nothing to see here. Although I did see the lineup for entertainers at the inauguration. Reads like a B-list showing on a Thursday night in Tunica. It's really bad. Lee Greenwood, Toby Keith,
now,
Three Doors Down.
I've written a parody of Lee Greenwood's song, I'm Proud to Be an American.
Oh.
And
be careful, that's conservative canon.
Everybody loves to hear me sing. I'm going to sing it now. Okay. I'm proud to eat American food because at least I know it's good. I don't eat foreign food because I know it's not. I'd proudly stand up next to you and order KFC today. There ain't no doubt I love this food. God bless the USA.
You know what? As an avid eater of many food cultures, I just shake my head at that. That's the kind of closed-mindedness that's going to destroy this country, Will. Go eat some spaghetti. Go eat some sushi. Find something you like.
I'll eat spaghetti. It's American as far as I'm concerned.
So is that how that works? If it's here long enough, it's like, no, that's American food.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's what we did with the Indians. It's like when our ancestors got here, they were like, you're Indians, right? No. Yeah, you are.
Yeah, you are.
No, we're
this
not.
This doesn't look like India. Shut up, Larry. We got this.
And we're still calling them Indians over 300 years later.
Yeah, that's just ridiculous, and it's just absolutely asinine. You know what I mean? But that's all right. You know what? That's fine. We're in Trump's America now. You can call anybody whatever you want, and if they get mad at you, well, that's just them being political snowflakes, and they're delicate and they can't handle it. God forbid that you say something bad about what they believe in, because that's whenever all hell breaks loose.
Yes.
It's a moving double standard is what it is, and that's what they want. So.
Yeah. Anything else?
Too much to go into today.
All right.
We'll come back next week and we'll have a lot to talk about, I'm sure.
Okay. That brings to a close this edition of the Improbability Engine.